do Messianic Jews celebrate Passover? They sure do. I've been celebrating Passover with my family ever since I restarted it for them. When I was growing up as a Jew, we did Passover, but it was kind of boring, and we all stopped. But when I became a believer in Yeshua and studied the Bible, I came to realize how rich the meaning of Passover is. I just wanted to celebrate it with my family, and I've been leading the Seder with them ever since. And we also have a Seder for my wife and my children. And we also have Seders for our community. Any Jew could come to a Messianic Seder, and it would look pretty familiar, except maybe a little more lively and fun. The difference is that Messianic believers also see Yeshua in the Seder, for good reason. First of all, he celebrated it himself. We call it the Last Supper. Just as Moses was God's appointed deliverer for Israel, so Yeshua is God's appointed deliverer for Israel and for all people. The original elements of the Passover Seder were the matzah, or unleavened bread, the maror, or bitter herbs, and the Pesach, the lamb. The lamb has become just a lamb bone because we can't sacrifice in the temple. But before the temple was destroyed, Yeshua gave each of these elements additional meaning. The matzah, unleavened, represents his purity as a perfect sacrifice. The maror represents the bitterness of our bondage in Egypt, but generally to sin, and the bitterness of Yeshua's suffering on our behalf. And the Pesach, where Yeshua became the Passover lamb who takes away the sin of the world. Now the rabbis have added new things post-biblically, such as the karosis, or this tasty apple nut cinnamon mixture. The 4 questions, which is a way of making sure we keep the commandment to answer the children's questions. We'll make sure they ask questions. And the 4 sons, which parallel the 4 questions with different kinds of answers. And then lots of long rabbinical discussions, some of it in Hebrew, mainly interesting to Orthodox Jews, not so much to others. Yeshua had the authority to add new meaning because he was a great rabbi, the greatest of all. And millions would come to recognize him as the great rabbi and the Messiah. The Jewish artist, Mark Chagall, saw the connection between the deliverance of the Jewish people from bondage through Moses and the redemption of all people through the suffering of Messiah Yeshua. The purpose of Passover is to pass the story on. Pass it on. Ask questions. Understand what it's all about. Understand the meaning of the original Passover and the Passover or Last Supper of Yeshua. You're welcome to join us either in person or online via our live stream. We worship every Shabbat or Saturday starting at 10:30, and we also celebrate the special festivals of Israel. Please subscribe so you can follow us and get more answers from the rabbi.